Hello everyone. Today, me, Dr. Pratima Matthias, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, will take you through this session 6. What are the things that we are going to cover in session 6? This session 6, we are going to start with the second chapter of Analytical Chemistry for B.Sc 3rd semester, that is ultracentrifugation. So before you look into this chapter, ultracentrifugation, you have to recall what is a colloid, what is a precipitate, what is decantation, and what is filtration. So I've just made use of this particular image. Let us look at this first test tube. You do not see any particles either in suspended form or settled. Hence it is called as a solution. Okay. So when you have some small particles, it is called as suspension. And then when these suspended particles are going to settle down, this is called as a precipitate and this is called as a supernatant. Okay. So colloidal solution is in between clear solution and suspension. Okay. That is a colloid. Precipitate is formed after settling of the suspended particles. Decantation, when you just remove the supernate liquid, and then you obtain this precipitate, that process is called as decantation. Filtration, when you use some other membranes like either paper or cloth or anything like that to separate this precipitate, that process is called as filtration. Okay, so I hope now you are clear with what are the prerequisites in order to go through this chapter. After you go through this chapter, that is this particular session 6 of chapter 2, you will be able to know the meaning of centrifugation, know the meaning of centrifugal force, and you will be able to understand differences between sedimentation and centrifugal decantation. Okay. So at the end of the session, let us see if you will be able to understand need for centrifugation and separation. Okay, meaning of centrifugation. In the first slide I showed you, suspended particles will take time to settle. Sometimes it may take 1/2 an hour or sometimes it may take many days together. So suspended particles left to stand still, the particles will tend to settle down to the bottom. That is sedimentation under the influence of gravity. So how do they settle down? Under the influence of gravity. But if you apply centrifugal force to it, particles will sediment faster and this will be proportional to the force applied. Okay, there are two methods of getting your precipitate. First method, you bring about precipitation and let it take its own time to settle down. It may take days or ages together, okay? Or else you apply a little bit of force. You bring it to settle down forcibly. What force are you going to apply here? You're going to use a centrifugal force. Okay? So, when you use centrifugal force for sedimentation to improve or faster its rate of sedimentation, it is called as centrifugation. Okay? Or else it is simply called as sedimentation under the influence of gravity. So what is a centrifugal force? Okay, just imagine yourself standing here and you have a thread and you are catching this stone and you are going to move in circle. Okay, you're going to rotate yourself and this is going to move in circle. So if this is the speed in which you are rotating, okay, and the force will be in this direction. This force is called as centrifugal force. Centrifugal force. This will be trying to move away, but you are holding it back. Okay, you're holding it here and you're moving. So there is a force which is generated. This force is called as centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is given by omega square R. Omega square R. And relative centrifugal force is given by omega square R divided by 980. So relative centrifugal force RCF is given by 4 into pi RPM whole square R into 980 divided by 60 square. How did you get this? Because omega is equal to 4 pi square RPM divided by 60 and G is equal to 980 centimeter per second square. Okay, so this is about centrifugal force. Sedimentation. What is sedimentation? Sedimentation is one of the several methods for application prior to filtration. Sedimentation is the process of allowing particles in the suspension in water to settle out of the suspension under the effect of gravity, centrifugal acceleration, or electromagnetism. You can use any of these and allow sedimentation process to take place. Centrifugal decantation. If we allow sediment or two liquid phases to settle based on gravitational force, then the time for sedimentation is increased. Instead of this, if we apply centrifugal force, time taken for sedimentation or separation of liquid phases decreases. Separation of such systems can be achieved by decantation, taking advantage of their different densities. So decantation process carried out after applying centrifugal separation is called as centrifugal decantation. We have seen this, I have told you. Okay, so finally, to summarize this whole session, we have seen what is centrifugation and what is centrifugal force. Okay, sedimentation. We have seen sedimentation, you're going to allow the particles to settle down. You can allow that to settle down under gravity, or you can use magnetism, or you can use centrifugal force. When you use centrifugal force, it is called as centrifugation. Okay, centrifugal force is given by omega square R. And then we saw even what is relative centrifugal force. And what is the differences? What is the major difference between sedimentation and centrifugal decantation? I hope this much is clear to you. Now we shall move on to few MCQs, multiple choice question. The first one, allowing particles to settle naturally is called, obviously it is sedimentation. Okay, you are not applying anything and it can never be both A and B. So it is centrifugation, ultracentrifugation. You are going to use centrifugal force and hence it is called as sedimentation. So next, centrifugal force is inversely proportional to, what is it inversely proportional to? Yes, it is neither A nor B. We saw centrifugal force F is equal to omega square R. It is directly proportional. It is never inversely proportional. So it is neither R nor omega. It is not inversely proportional. It is directly proportional. Removal of supernatant liquid after centrifugation is called what? Is it filtration, centrifugation, decantation, or none of the above? What is it? It is decantation. While you are going to remove that supernatant liquid, it is called as decantation. Okay, these are the few references which you can use for further studies. And I hope now, after this session, you are in a better position to understand the differences between what is sedimentation, what is centrifugation, and what is centrifugal force. Thank you very much.